I'm so keen not to give you an answer. You've probably asked me.
Oh, so many times I've asked. I've asked when you were sober. I've asked when you were drunk. I've asked when you were tired. I've asked when you're in the middle of something, thinking you just give me an answer.
And then you're like,
away.
we're going to talk about it on the podcast. And you're like, I'm going to ask her on recording so that she'll freaking tell me.
Just give me a straight.
Matty and Esther, who would have guessed they're underage grandparents?
Welcome to another week of Underaged Grandparents. We are Matty and Esther Acton. The name of the podcast is because we became grandparents before turning 40.
This is a parenting and relationship podcast. Stick around and we'll make you feel normal.
We have our first bit of mail for the week. Send us a message too, by the way, because we've just decided that if you get a shout out on the podcast, you get sent a present.
And you know what? I'll pick the present.
No, I was just going to say you don't pick the present.
Why?
Because you'll get something expensive.
Oh.
We don't make any money out of this podcast. This podcast will cost us money. I'm just thinking like a little something to say thank you.
Like what?
I don't know yet. Why? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking that I'll have a look at this person's profile and maybe like gain a little bit of insight into who they are. I'm actually very bad at buying presents, but so I probably would spend more just to like...
Well, everyone's getting an $80 candle if you do it. But I want to shout out to Belinda who listens. She says, I listen to your podcast every week while I'm at work as a cleaner. You're doing God's work, Belinda.
Yes.
She laughs very hard and can relate to so many of our life's experience. She too met her husband when he was 20 and she was 24. She had 2 kids from a previous relationship and all of his friends told him he was crazy for dating a single mum of 2. As my friends.
Look at us now.
Yeah. A lot of people said the same thing when we started dating because you were a single mum. Now, fast forward 19 years and they are happily married and still going strong. She also said that she can totally relate to Esther, the way we're talking about our 12-year-old boy on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. She has a 12-year-old and she's flat out getting a hug from him anymore. I miss the days of morning cuddles in bed.
Yeah.
We want them to be independent, but we also want them back.
Oh, it is actually crushing. I was just talking to someone about how their son has discovered girls and then you feel like you've even been more pushed to the side. Like when they're like 14, 13 and they discover then girls, like as their mother, you take it even further. Like
when a boy gets a girlfriend, their mother's opinion
means a lot
dirt.
less. Hey, that's not nice. I don't like that.
But you've got to remember, as time goes on, that works in your favour, because I became your boyfriend, and now I listen to your opinion over my mother's. So while
I didn't enforce that though. That was like definitely just something that you did.
That's just the law of physics. That's the way it works.
No, but like I think if you've instilled all the morals and values in your child, then they will choose the right partner and this won't be a problem for you.
Of course. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think mothers take it harder because they always look up to you and you're their number one.
100%. And boys are usually so cuddly and, willing to be affectionate with you. Whereas Eden, like she can be affectionate, but she's more like lounging on you or getting you to carry her, whereas boys are, cuddly and
I don't know whether we're talking about the same friend that we share, and we won't say their name because their son won't want to be named, but she's struggling because he's got a girl he's talking to. He's 14, I think, and every time he has an opinion on something, it seems like it stems off the girl he's chatting with. Like, so-and-so said blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it's really, it's irking her.
Yeah, it grates on you.
Especially because a lot of the things that so-and-so has been telling him, the mother has also been saying.
Oh, for sure.
And so she's like, I say that all the time.
We've witnessed that firsthand with Ethan's dress sense. Since he's got a woman who now dresses him. For years, we were like, can you not just wear something that matches and isn't stained? Because we'd buy him so many clothes and he just wouldn't wear them. And now I don't think I've seen him in the same outfit.
For new listeners, Ethan is our 23-year-old
Yes.
who made us
married.
grandparents. He's
Yes.
married and got a baby.
Yes.
But yeah, he would wear the same
my
stained
God.
shorts every day. And we'd be like, dude, I think, what do they call that? The power of the...
Stop it.
The power of the...
Female friendship.
Yes. That.
Yeah.
But yeah, Belinda's message is because we're talking about our 12-year-old. He was grounded the weekend just gone.
Yes, he was.
Because we let him go out and ride his bike and go fishing with his mates, but he has to be contactable all the time.
Yeah.
And he never answers his phone. And it drives us insane.
Yeah.
So we banned him the weekend just gone from leaving the house outside of sports.
Yeah. And
he
it was terrible.
He was a massive pain in the ass.
He was a huge pain in the butt. Even though it rained all weekend, I can just imagine the pain we would have been in if the sun was out. Like it would have been triple what it was. But he can't sit still, and he hated it. He hated every moment of it.
Yeah. He's standing in our doorway going, so what? I'm just going to stay in the house all day and bed rot? What should I do?
And I'm like, that is actually my dream. I always think I'm having little moments of breakthrough with him, like because I drove him to BCF twice over the weekend just to like numb that pain a little bit and give him an activity.
Yes,
he
guys.
He got birthday vouchers.
He was grounded hard. He wasn't allowed to ride his bike, but he could go shopping at BCF twice.
I was talking to him about the reason why we're so on to him about calling us back and everything like that, because it is really important now that they have phones that they use them for what they're for, which isn't to Snapchat girls. And I don't think he's doing that either, but I mean, give it time.
Did you ever have, if you didn't contact your mum, like she would just fly off the handle?
Oh,
Like you'd get home and you'd be in so much trouble and you get that, I thought you were dead in a ditch. I was going to call the police. How do I know that you're not drowned? Or someone hasn't pulled you in the back of their van? That's what happens around here, you know? If you hear 1 minute and then you go missing and then you're dead. That was my mum growing up.
he did tell me something that he did this week. And I was mildly impressed. He started a new school
He's in high school this year.
And some older boys have been making fun of him because one of his parents is on the internet pretending to be a 12-year-old boy.
Okay, yes, that would be me.
Yes. And this older kid was like giving him shit about it in front of a group of people, saying, your dad's pretending to be you, sort of thing. Like, this is you, right?
Well, that character, so I started doing it I've been doing it since he was 8.
Yeah.
It was him, but now it's
It was based on Ethan as well.
Yeah.
Because Ethan and him were similar kids.
Yeah.
And some of the early skits were Ethan.
Yeah.
And then,
I
it's a
act
hybrid
out,
kid.
like kids getting into the car after school and just the dumb stuff they do. Like one I did was him. One day we're sitting at the table and I was getting up him because he wipes his hands. He eats with his hands. He doesn't touch cutlery. And then he'd wipe them on his clothes.
I hope he never listens to this podcast.
He won't. And I told him to not do that. So instead of wiping his hands on his clothes, his hands went down again. And I said, don't do that. And he goes, I'm not. The dog's licking my fingers.
Disgusting. So disgusting.
That's just the shit he does.
Yeah. I said to him, well, you're kind of going to have to get used to that, buddy. There's going to be people who are going to mention that stuff to you all the time. It's just part of like having a parent who's in media. And he goes, oh, no, don't worry, Mum. I got him back. He said, I found his mum's Facebook page and screenshotted some photos of her being really embarrassing. And then I showed him and said, what about this then? See how proud you are? I can see how proud you are.
But how much older than him was this kid?
You're 9, I think.
Well, we got to be careful.
Well,
you don't want to get bashed.
And I was like, dude, that kid could find some very embarrassing stuff on my
What was the mum
social
doing?
media pages. I think she was dancing with maybe a Mexican hat on or something.
well,
Nothing that's not that embarrassing.
So just embarrassing to a 14-year-old boy.
100%.
But to every other normal person, you're like, she's just at a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah. I don't want to say exactly what was in the photo because I think that, kind of.
Was she at a hands or something?
Yeah, she was with a bunch of other women.
Was there like penis straws or something in it?
No,
Or?
I don't know, doll.
Right.
Because I was mildly impressed, mildly frightened, because this is the kid that we've raised. That he's fighting fire with fire here.
That's a streak of you there from him.
What do you mean? Finding people on the internet?
No, just like fighting fire with fire like that. Just to think that out.
Tell me, psychologist Matthew, how do you fight?
Very emotionally and terribly.
No, you fight with with words.
With words, yeah.
With words,
yeah. But I would use nasty words back at them. He had to find
it's
out
premeditated,
that kid's
you reckon?
mum's name, go onto Facebook to find her, ensure that it was actually her, screenshot it, then go and find that kid in the playground and be like, your mum. Now, we've also had a bit of a frightening couple of weeks. Now, it all turned out well in the end.
I'm feeling very grateful that we got good news, but at the same time, there's this hangover from it where I almost feel guilty that I got good news because I know so many people go through what we went through and their result isn't good.
So you had a mammogram about a month ago.
Yeah.
And so when you got the mammogram, the results went back to the doctor. And what did the doctor say?
They needed to do another scan. What are they called?
An ultrasound?
Ultrasound. I kept thinking X-ray, which isn't right because that's looking at your bones.
There's no bones in your boobies.
Yeah, so they needed to do an ultrasound because it was inconclusive and there was a couple of things that they couldn't see. It was inconclusive on one side and one of my lymph nodes looked larger than the other. Then we were waiting on the results of that. Took forever, took a long time. And when I was actually there getting the ultrasound done, I was in there for well over an hour. They took lots and lots of imaging. So I was a little bit nervous, I guess, because obviously they don't say anything to you there.
Yeah.
I've been just pushing it to the side and like I'm not going to have a reaction about it until I find out what it is. But I think in my mind I had completely prepared myself for bad news because I had already started thinking things through of like what that was going to mean, how we would go about our lives around that. So I'd already done all of that mental work before you get there. And it was funny because when I finally got in front of my doctor and she said, oh, no, the scan results came through this morning. I had a look at them. Yeah, absolutely nothing. I was just like, I think I sat there kind of like, oh, for a while because I was like, that's not what I expected.
No.
And she was like, nothing abnormal about, what was there, just cysts and, stuff like that. And talked me through a little bit of it, but I was kind of just sitting there like, oh, okay. So it was actually nothing. So
breast cancer is an awful disease that
100%
is taking way too many good mothers and sisters.
And there's so many people going through treatment. I know personally 3 people going through treatment at the moment. Like it is actually so common and varying age groups, And obviously my paternal grandmother had breast cancer in her 40s and had both breasts removed in her 40s. It comes from your mother's side, I think, generally, but that is always in your mind, I guess.
That's a lot of catastrophizing that you did through that week.
Yes, which I do always anyway. Like,
I could tell you were nervous about it.
Could you?
I could tell, yes.
I was pretending I was fine.
I know, but I could tell on the outside
that
something was going on. We're very grateful and obviously thinking of anyone who's going through cancer treatment. I saw it with my dad when he had cancer. It's a really tough thing for people to do. I kind of feel bad about talking about the reason why you were getting it done now.
Well, there's a couple of reasons, but the main reason I did it is because one of the girls I go to book club with has been through breast cancer. Yeah. And she basically said to all of us, everyone should be getting checked in this group. Doesn't matter if you're 40 or not. Everyone and I was like, oh, I actually haven't had a mammogram. Yeah. And I'm due. I should be doing this. That was actually the trigger that sort of I thought this needs to happen. But we had also been in discussions, you and I, about the fact that I want to get my boobs done. And so I was like, before you take those steps, you have to maybe, take care of your health before you think about anything cosmetic. I guess the other reason too is I'm in perimenopause right now. And for me to start any sort of hormones and stuff like that, you have to take care of all those check boxes for
Yeah.
your health before you do any of that stuff. So it's just a timely part of life. But I've never had a scary result to a test before, or even an inconclusive one. So I think it was a good wake-up call for me that, like, I'm 40 now. Every time I go to the doctor, it's not going to be everything's perfect.
Yeah.
You've got to get used to that as you get older.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of preparing myself as well for when I do go and see this surgeon to talk about getting a boob job. It may not be straightforward. It may not be what I think it's going to be.
Just can I ask, because I'm obviously very interested in the subject.
You'd like, yeah.
And I'm trying to be, obviously.
You're being very bad at hiding your
Yeah,
excitement.
I know.
You're like,
I know.
you're like,
Well, obviously I'm excited. I have no issue with your current breasts. In fact, I love them.
yeah.
They're fantastic. But it's like
Do
anyone.
you feel like, is it weird for you because they've lived 1,000 lives in our relationship?
Mm.
I think when we met, I was probably around a B cup. I've gone all the way up to like double DE in pregnancies. And then obviously my weight's fluctuated like 25 kilos. So they were always a part of the package.
You are one of 3 women whose boobs I've seen in real life.
Really?
Mm.
Well, Carmi would be one of them. Your old
4.
flatmate.
4.
my best friend, who was Matt's flatmate,
Who we met through.
She was never wore any clothes. When I lived with her, she would paint in a G-string and gumboots, and she'd be out in the backyard.
She was a free
painting.
spirit.
She's very free spirited,
Yeah.
but yeah, you would have seen her boobs. Everyone's seen her boobs.
I will never forget, we had a kiddie pool out in our backyard.
Yeah.
And because we live in Queensland, it was hot.
Yeah.
So we were sitting out there one Saturday afternoon drinking beers. She had her top off sunbathing, and it was just normal.
It's normal.
It wasn't a
It's not
sexual
weird.
thing
There's
between
nothing
us.
weird.
And her mum came around to say hello,
Oh, she never wore a bra either.
and she never put a top on.
No, she gets.
And I'm sitting there, half cut, drinking beers in this pool with her
Yeah.
mum's there. She's there, no top on, and everyone's just acting like this is normal.
Yeah. She got her free spiritedness from her mother.
I was like,
literally, her
what
mum's the
universe
hippie.
am I in right now? What is going on? I'd only just accepted the way Carmi was. Anyway, but how big are you going to get?
This is the one question you've been
I
wanting
know.
to ask the whole time.
I know. For weeks I've wanted to know. And how does this work? Obviously, when we were having children and you would go to the gynecologist, I would come along
You're
for
not
that.
coming.
Do I not come to the
No.
see the surgeon as well?
No. Why would you?
Do you think the surgeon will say, are you in a relationship?
Does your husband want anything to do with this? No. I think one thing that was brought up to me today, which I actually made me giggle because I was like, it's something you haven't thought about, is you can't actually have intercourse for 3 months after this because they can't be stimulated.
Right. Is it going to be worth it then? No. 3 months?
Literally. No.
Who told you that?
My friend who's
Nah,
had them
you've
done.
added time to that. You've made that up.
She said 2 to 3. She said, but you can Google it. She said there is a period of time because there's like nerve endings and they've got
Yeah,
to
I guess so.
reposition things and they can't be stimulated. And that just made me giggle so hard because I was like, it's like showing someone like,
Hey, there's a Porsche in the driveway.
don't touch it.
You're not allowed to drive it.
And you'll have to do like heaps of chores. Like apparently I won't be able to hang clothes on the washing line. And I was like, I don't do that
No,
anyway.
you don't. Everything goes in the dryer. I've encouraged you as much as I can. Can we use the washing line? You're like, shut up. Unless you're doing it, in the dryer it goes. And I think fair enough.
Yeah.
But obviously you want to do it because to make you feel good. It's about you want.
Yeah. I think having been someone my whole life who's like just had boobs, and then in the last probably 18 months, I've lost a bit of weight and they were the first things to go and they just have not recovered. Like I felt like after pregnancy, my boobs would always return after breastfeeding and all of that. Give it, 6 months and they'll be back. But I just think that I'm 40, almost 43. Like, it's just not something that's going to come back to life anymore. The other thing for me is I do dislike wearing bras as much as what I do. So I am looking forward to potentially not having to think about that as much. Like being able to wear backless dresses. Like, I've never been able to wear backless dresses because I always have to wear a bra.
I would have thought you would have to wear a bra more because they'll be bigger.
Well, it's to do with the weight of them and whether or not they put them under muscle and stuff like that. I don't know. But that's going to be my number one goal. So
do you think they'll be like double the size?
I'm so keen not to give you an answer on what I'm thinking because
I have been.
You've probably asked me.
Oh, so many times I've asked. I've asked when you were sober. I've asked when you were drunk. I've asked when you were tired. I've asked when you're in the middle of something, thinking you just give me an answer.
And then you're like,
away.
we're going to talk about it on the podcast, and you're like, I'm going to ask her on recording so that she'll freaking tell me.
Just give me a straight. Do you know what you want yet, or
it does depend on your body shape. Like if I go in there and I'm like, give me ease, they're probably going to try and talk you out of that. I don't even know if that would fit in my skin.
But they're going to get bigger.
Yeah, style.
Because someone said to me, "Are you getting a reduction?" And I said,
"No, I could like years ago when I possessed boobs, then I could have done that. But now, no, I don't need a reduction. I want probably 2 sizes bigger than what I've got."
What have you got now?
B, small B.
Okay. Can I say one thing?
Your algorithm's going to get super creepy if you start Googling that stuff.
No, I'm not going to.
So like a C to a D. Do you even know what that is? No. Okay. I'm going to say that's Esther 2018. Pre-COVID, because COVID I put a lot of weight on and I had massive boobs. So like 2018 Esther. Go and have a look at some photos there and then that's probably what you're going to get.
You know what's interesting about that, and you said that your boobs have always been bigger and you've lost weight. I have never seen you any different.
Well, see, that's a good thing.
So when you talk about you're like, oh, my boobs have changed.
Heaps.
I haven't known. To me, they look exactly the same as they've always looked.
Oh, aren't you sweet? Even
when you say, and I hate when you say this, you're like, oh, I used to be so fat.
Yeah.
I hate that you say that about yourself. To me, I have never seen you any different.
I know, and that's really sweet. And I think that's why even when I was bigger and I felt really awful about myself when I'd see myself in photos, I would still feel beautiful when I was around you. Even though, because
you are.
Even though I would see the photo after and be like, woof. But I think,
and what would I always say to you? Don't talk shit about my wife.
Yeah,
like that.
I know. And that's, I think when you love someone, you should always see them the same. That's the same with you. I see you the same through every single time of our life. I don't think I've ever noticed anything has been different. I'm glad you have a beard now. When I look back at photos of you without a beard, I'm like, he looked so young. One more thing on this.
Yeah.
I know, and this is probably...
Sorry.
Many people would have tuned out.
I know, sorry. So much boob chat here.
But there is like... By
the way, if you've had them done and you want to share your stories for the podcast, feel free to do that.
Please. What I wanted to say to you is...
Did you actually... Sorry to cut you off. I'm just saying, if you are sharing your stories, by that I mean, did you consult your husband or boyfriend?
Yeah.
If you were getting it done, did you talk to them about it?
No one will have. Not a single woman.
We talked about it. I mentioned it on my radio show, and there was a couple of people who were like, yeah.
What, they asked them?
Yeah.
What size they wanted?
They asked him what he wanted.
Okay.
And they did what they wanted.
Okay. Well, then let me frame you the question. Yeah. What size do you want?
I don't know. I just don't know.
You obviously thought about it.
Yeah.
Pam Anderson, 1998.
Everyone thinks double D. I don't know. Double D's is always... For some reason, double D's always has been in my mind.
Yeah, but
I don't know if that's...
It is different, and I was talking to Abby this morning from your show. She did say a size 8 double D and a size 12 or a size 16 double D is a very different boob.
Yeah.
Right? And it probably would look more like an F on a size 10 because it's all proportionate to the body that they're going on.
Yeah.
So I think I'll just be guided by the doctor, if
Yes.
that's okay.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just looking through my 2018 photos here.
One question.
Yeah.
How are we going to tell the kids what's happening? Because my friend I was talking to this morning, and this is something I would really love advice about from people who've had this done. Her 2 sons, so she has maybe an 11 and a 13-year-old. They just found out recently in the last month that her boobs are fake.
Oh, that'd kill a 13-year-old boy, wouldn't it?
Zander's 12. Like, how does this conversation happen with our 12-year-old? Because he will be repulsed, horrified, disgusted. And I said to her, I almost want to lie to my children and tell them there's some medical reason, but then that'll just fill them with fear.
No, you got to be honest. You got to tell the truth.
What? So mum's really vain?
No.
Mum's going to go get surgery and then, like, still wear tops that are, like, up to my neck.
But he's going to grow up to be someone's husband or boyfriend. And there are things about women's bodies that I grew up in the era where no one talked about any of that stuff. And I think maybe him learning early and you being honest about it, like...
She said that she broached it with her boys to say, you know, this is about me and this is about my body. Mum wanted to feel good in her body and that's why she did it. And I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Xander would still... I can just imagine what he's going to say.
Yeah, he's going to be... Well, Ethan's 23, so you can't lie to him. He's going to know what's going on.
But Ethan is all about women's lib. He's not going to care. He's going to be like... no doubt still disgusted because your mother is still, you know, your mother.
I think we're going to have to be honest. They're going to know.
You know what Eden's like. She is like virtually... She's that kid that's inside my jumper with her head out watching TV. Like she's... so in my grill. Like, she will know every little thing. So we're going to have the conversation, and I'd like to know how to do that.
Last thing before we wrap up this week, does anyone else have this same problem with their children? They've all got iPads, right? Every kid's got an iPad these days, or a phone, or a tablet, or an Apple Watch. Our daughter wants an Apple Watch
For her 9th
for her birthday, which I need to get online and double check. Because I told you I would, and now that responsibility is mine. And if I
3 times now I've asked you about it, and
After
you keep saying, "Don't you do it? I'll do it."
I'm gonna do it.
Whereas I would have just walked straight into JB Hi-Fi and bought one.
Yes, and I went into there, and the versions they had were very expensive. She doesn't need an expensive
and I would
one.
not have cared about that.
And why do you think I'm the one saying, "Let me do it"? But our daughter has an iPad, and she's got Messenger Kids on it, so she can do
Roblox
and video calls.
Yes.
So she does video calls with her friends, and they do their hair together and all sorts of stuff. You were telling me every morning her and her friends get on the iPad and they pick their hair for the day?
That was happening at one point, but I think all the mums have banded together to ban it in the mornings.
So you're going to have to deal with that.
100%, because Eden would come out and say, I need 2 ponytails with 4 plaits each. And I'd be like...
Not happening, champ.
Should have told me that 35 minutes ago.
Yeah, no. And this is the great thing about it is they can stay in communication with their friends.
I don't like it at all. I don't want them to be in communication with their friends. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. They all like come up with ideas of things they should be doing, and then they find out if one of them's not going to something. And
well, that is one of the hardest parts. Zander was carrying on the weekend when he was half grounded.
He was grounded.
He was grounded, but he went to BCF twice shopping. If there's kids having play dates, then other kids know about it. So then you're at home having an argument with your kid because they're sad they weren't invited, when usually they would deal with that at school on Monday.
Yeah.
All that sort of crap goes on. But this has been an issue even since our eldest son lived at home.
Yes.
Because he had this girlfriend in high school and they would be on the phone together all the time.
Yeah.
I would go downstairs sometimes to turn off the light in his bedroom because he'd fallen asleep. And one time I went in there.
They'd fall asleep on the phone together.
I could hear snoring coming through the phone. And it was his girlfriend at the time who'd fallen asleep in her bed because the two of them would fall asleep together on FaceTime.
I don't like that.
No. And so then I would have to hang up on her.
I hate being on the phone. That's just like, that's the worst thing that you could ever want to do it. If you were away and you were like, can we FaceTime each other to sleep? I'd be like, sure.
You're like, I'm enjoying you not being here. Sorry, my battery's running out. What?
Yeah.
And it happened on the weekend, which has happened in the past when Zander started online gaming with his friends. Eden was on her iPad with her little girly pop mates.
Yeah.
And they were doing their hair or doing what they're doing. And you and I were having a fight.
Yeah.
And we were robustly talking.
Yes.
And then I realised that Eden was on her iPad. So there was a child sitting at the kitchen table on the other end who would have had that on speaker, whose parents would have been able to hear the robust conversation that you and I were having.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just thought, we need to get these things out of our house.
I just thought, I bet you that mum agrees with me. Bet you she's gone, yeah. You tell him.
And I can tell you now, I know they would have been listening, because if I heard another house's argument coming through my daughter's iPad,
100%.
I would have made popcorn, grabbed myself a little Coke Zero, and I would have sat on the opposite side of that iPad and just listened away.
It's even better, like, than when the neighbours used to fight and stuff, and you'd, like, listen out, like, you know, growing up. You'd, like, you and your mum and everyone would be at the blinds, like, listening.
Yeah.
This is even better. You're actually in their house.
I know.
Although the other day I did, one of the mums from school, I heard her saying, you need to get off that. You need to get off right now, talking about the iPad. And I was like, hi, Bree, because I was there. And I started waving, and then she was like, I was like, you going to wave to me? And she said, I can't. I'm in my bra. That's why I'm telling her to get off.
I heard one weekend, Eden was on with one of her friends, and I hear the dad go, are you on a call? She goes, yeah. I'm not going to use her name. He goes to her, I'm doing a poo. Get out.
Yeah, because the little girly pops are all doing it in the bathroom with their, like,
yes,
in front of the mirror.
They don't care. You are sitting on the toilet. You're in the worst possible position. Whether you're like, I've accidentally walked down the hallway, walked past the door in just my jocks before.
I know.
And they're on the iPad and you don't know. And all of a sudden there you are.
I opened the door the other day to her room and she goes, get out. And I was like, what? And she goes, my friends can see you.
Well, she knows she's not meant to be in her room with the door shut.
I know.
On the iPad.
Yeah.
But God, it made me laugh that day. He's like, I'm doing a poo. Get out of here.
That would have been you before, like, honestly. But I feel like we're the embarrassing yelling family.
You reckon?
Don't know. Well, I feel like it happens more in the other way around. I haven't heard one of the mums completely lose it yet, but I know that one of the mums from school heard me completely lose it once because she texted me and was like, are you having a rough morning?
No, see, that's wrong. You're not meant to do that. You ignore it. You don't tell people you've heard it.
No.
Because you would have been yelling at them to get in the car, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was Zander. I was yelling at him for something.
Probably because you told him to put his shoes on 84 times and then he got in the car with nothing but socks on.
And I did drop a few F-bombs. So then I was like...
You were terrible, honestly. Can't believe you would do that.
Oh, my God. I should record you.
Please don't. Please don't.
Anyway,
Anyway,
no, ban it. Ban the whole thing.
Please share your stories with us, guys. Underaged Grandparents podcast on Instagram, Facebook as well. What went through the iPad? Maybe you heard something come through the iPad, or maybe something that you were fighting about went through the iPad. Let us know. Thanks for joining us for another week.
Yes.
Jump on all the socials, get involved. And if you didn't hear it at the start of the podcast, we are doing weekly shout outs. If you've sent us a message and we share your story, we will send you a gift. We don't know what it is going to be. I'm picking them.
No, I'm picking
No
them.
way. $5 budget.
Oh, that's not a gift.
$10
That's
budget.
rubbish. You're just going to throw that in the bin.
$10. $10 budget.
Dollars.
The thought that counts.
Oh.
How much do you want to do as a gift? If we're doing it every week,
Yeah. Just think bigger.
$40.
Yeah, I think no one is going to throw $40 in the bin.
Well, they wouldn't throw $5 in the bin, would they?
If it was in 5-cent pieces, I would.
I send you $5 and 5-cent pieces. That would be such a pain in the ass to get because no one would have that.
I know.
Not even the banks have money.
Where
in
are
them.
you spending that?
All right. Have a great one, guys. We appreciate you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.